Thank you, Ryan, for that introduction to investing abroad directly, as well as covering horizontal and vertical foreign direct investment. And so I'm going to be elaborating a bit more on kind of how foreign direct investment moves in and outside of a country. And to start off with a couple of definitions, I'll be beginning with FDI Flow. This just refers to the amount of foreign direct investment moving in a given period of time and in a certain direction. And FDI typically moves in two sorts of directions. The first one being FDI inflow, and this just refers to the inbound foreign direct investment moving into a country. And the opposite applies to FDI outflow, and this refers to the outbound foreign direct investment moving out of a country in a year. And so the aggregate of both of these inflows and outflows is what's considered the FDI stock, right? And so next we'll be looking at the top 10 economies in the world that receive the most FDI inflows. These statistics will be in billions of dollars. And to start off, number one on the list is the United States of America. And you'll see here that they are at about $200 billion in inflows. China would be second at about 125 billion, and Russia third with about 75 billion. And so I know we've covered in the past the BRIC countries, and it's important to note that some of those BRIC countries you're starting to see on these top 10 economy lists. Although I mean not general economies, but in this case FDI inflows. But it's just important to note that these countries are on the rise, and it's starting to be noticed, right? And so next we'll be looking at the top 10 economies generating FDI outflows in billions of dollars. And by far, number one on the list is the United States of America, and they lead by far with about a staggering $350 billion in FDI outflows. And I mean, it comes to no surprise. The United States is known to outsource a lot of their work, whether it be manufacturing, customer service, things of that nature. They try to take advantage of lower prices, wherever they can get it. And so the second step down would be Japan, who has about $150 billion in FDI outflows, and then China with about 100 billion after them. So next I'll be covering or differentiating between MNEs versus non-MNEs. And so I'll begin by kind of differentiating the two, right? We're stating what an MNE is first place. And so an MNE is, in the book, they're also referred to as multinational corporations, otherwise known as MNCs. But for the sake of uniformity and understanding, we're going to refer to these as MNEs, or multinational enterprises. And so what is an MNE? An MNE is a firm that engages in FDI when doing business abroad, right? To contrast that, a non-MNE it's a firm that can still do business abroad, but they're not undertaking foreign direct investment, and so thus they wouldn't classify as an MNE. So to give a bit of background or a good example to kind of contrast the two, so let's say we were BMW, and we only have a manufacturing plant in Germany. We're located in Germany, and that's it. That's our only location. We're not in any other countries. But we still export our cars and we still sell them. So in that instance, although we're still doing business abroad, we would not be considered a multinational enterprise because we're not engaging or investing in another firm's or another foreign country's economy, right? However, if we were to open up a factory, let's say in Morocco, let's just say, so now we have a factory not only in Germany where we're all located, but now we also have one in Morocco. Now we have engaged in foreign direct investment, and so now we would classify it as an MNE, right? And so that's the example I came up with. I know the book touched it a little bit as well, but I found that to be a very good example, a very clear and concise example of how to differentiate what would be an MNE versus what wouldn't be. Okay, and so that would be pretty much it that I'll be covering regarding foreign direct investment inflows and outflows. And then next I'll be handing it off to Mr. Andrew Dossman.